What is going on, guys? People have asked me for resources, and I recommend the React tutorial all the time. But then I kind of thought about it, and I remembered how utterly confusing I found the React tutorial when I was learning React. It's sort of, I mean, it's not, I don't want to criticize it, but it's hard if you don't know some React to go through this. So what I thought I would do is go through this tutorial and just sort of walk through getting it set up on your own machine and also sort of review some of the concepts we've talked about in class. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm in my terminal, and one thing you need to realize is you're always in a directory when you're in your terminal. Okay, so if I do pwd, it'll show you, it'll display what directory you're in. And I have it set up to display my directory in my terminal. And most terminal utilities will do this. So what I'm going to do is just to review like the directory structure. To make a directory, it's mkdir, and I'm going to make one called React tutorial. Okay. So now if I ls again, you can see my React tutorial is there. Ls just means list. Okay, so I'm going to change directories into my React tutorial. And from here, I'm going to run npx create React app dot. So again, like I said, you're always in a directory. So what this command says is npx run create React app and turn the directory that I'm in, which is the dot, into a React application. Okay, so then the React application would have the name of React tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to run that. While that's installing, I'm going to pause the video and I'll see you when it's done. Okay, so that's done. So normally if we had just run like npx create React app and then given it a name, at this point we would need to cd into the new directory that was created. But since I'm already in that directory, typing this, what they're saying to type, wouldn't make any sense. It would just take me to where I already am. So from here, I'm going to open this with Visual Studio Code just by typing code dot. And then basically, again, this just says code, the directory we're in, go ahead and open it. Okay, so I'm going to do that. There's Visual Studio Code. And look at this setup. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to make sure everything worked. I'm going to open my integrated terminal. I'm going to stop using my system terminal, and I'm going to use this one. And I'm just going to run npm start. Okay, so this will open in my browser the default welcome page that you get automatically with Create React App. Okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I'm going to take everything in app.js, everything but the outer div, and delete it. Okay, there we go. So now, and it's gone. Okay, so what they have in the tutorial is it's basically you're building a tic-tac-toe game. And I think this is probably the best thing you could do to learn how to code is build tic-tac-toe, because it's simple. It's this was basically my boot camp that I went to. We built tic-tac-toe, and it kind of sucked. It's like, it sucks to be new, right? You're building tic-tac-toe. This is kind of lame, but it really sort of, there's a lot of good that comes from this. So so I'm going to basically take the starter code, and this is Dan Abramoff's CodePen. So I'm going to show you how to get this into your local environment without, so you don't have to use CodePen. So basically you start out with 3 components. There's a square, a board, and a game. Okay, and then down here they have it automatically render. So what I'm going to do is leave the app component in place as our sort of root, right? So like the outer Russian doll that I was talking about, it's like the biggest, the most senior or parent layer, right? So I'm going to make a separate file for each of these components. Okay, and so you don't have to watch me type it. I'm going to pause the video and do it. Okay, so all I've done is made a components directory, and I've made 3 files for each of my components. So I have a board file, a game file, and a square file. So I'm just going to copy and paste these components into these files. So I'm going to copy my square, paste it in. Now for this to work, I need to import React, right? So I'm going to, at the top, I'm going to say import React from React. Okay, and then at the bottom, I need to export the file. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and export default square. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing with board. I'm going to go down to board. Board's kind of long, so let me zoom out a little bit so I can get the whole thing. Let me make this bigger. Okay, I'm in CS file now. So open this up. So I'm going to take, this is why I don't like CodePen. Okay, here's the bottom. I'm just going to go up to the top, take this out, copy it, and paste it in here. Okay, so now I have my board, and I'm going to import React from React. And export default, and I'm using the tab completion, and this is board. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing with, so I have board, I have game, and now I have to do square. No, I did square. I have to do, what do I have to do? I did board, I got to do game. Okay, so go down to game, and take my game class, copy it, paste it, export it. Okay. Let me get this back, clean this up again. Okay. And import React. Okay. So now this is where I think people get confused at this point, right? So here I have a blank app, right? So you'll notice that if I look at all of my, if I can get a square game on the open board again, that's not gonna let me do it. All right. So I have board renders square, right? So there's the square component, there's the game component, there's the board component. So the game renders board, and board renders square. Okay, so in order to render this component, we need to import it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the board, and I'm going to import square from, and then we have to give the path to where it is. So if you use autocomplete, we're just going to import square. Okay, then in game, it renders board, so I need to import board from / m autocomplete board. Okay, now finally the game is what actually gets rendered. So inside my app component, I'm going to take out this logo, and I'm going to import game from. And now we're outside of, if you look at our file structure, we're outside of, we need to tell app.js how to find game.js. So it's not in the same directory. You'll see that there's the source directory, and then there's the components directory that I made. So we need to tell it to go inside the components folder and get the game file. Okay, so I'm going to say import game from /components / game. Okay, so now I can go in here and I can render my game component. Oops. And then there's our game. Okay, so now it doesn't look exactly like this one because we need to get the CSS. So to get the CSS, you just go into the CSS file, copy it, go into our CSS file, take all the stuff that comes with Create React App and delete it, and then paste it in there. Okay, so now if we go back, our app looks just like Dan's. Okay, so that's the setup. Now from here you can continue to follow along with the code along. I'll do another video on that if you guys get stuck, but this is basically the setup. The final thing I want to do is push it to GitHub. So actually this video might be getting kind of long, so I'm going to do that in another video. So I hope this helped. And yeah, hope it helped. I'll see you guys soon.